What is going on, y'all? We got the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Micro Double here. We're gonna do a review on this. I'm gonna give you my thoughts. I'm gonna give you what I loved about it, what I didn't like about it, and whether it's gonna be the right stick for you. We're gonna get it on the tree. I'm gonna show you a few different attachment methods, and I'm gonna show you how I ran it all last year. This is a 1 year under my belt season review with the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Micro Double. All right, y'all, so we got the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Micro Double here. I'm running a 20-inch cable 8er on the bottom of it. Absolutely love that. I normally run just 2 of these sticks, and I'm running their 3/4 inch buckleless attachment method, which I also absolutely love. Now, I was a little bit skeptical about getting this stick at first. I thought, no way I'm gonna let this tiny little bolt hold me up. Not that I'm a giant dude, I'm 6 foot, 195, 200 pounds, roughly around there. And I just thought, I don't know if I trust that little bolt. Well, I was at the Whitetail Roadshow, and I noticed that they had come out with this, I believe this is what they're calling their V2 version. Before, it used to just be this bolt going from here all the way back, and it was that thin little part you see. But I noticed at the show that they had added this giant coupler bolt onto it, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the way that looks. And then I grabbed the stick, and I'm like, man, that thing is nice. And I had one of the Lone Wolf guys kind of show me how they were putting it on the tree and the couple different attachment methods that they were going with. And then I ended up falling in love with it, just for the fact that the stackability and the profile of it. It weighs nothing. It feels super nice in your hand to handle. I was genuinely surprised at how well it bit the tree. And then they increased the standoff. Some of the other reviews which stopped me from getting the stick beforehand were that the standoff was like almost 2 inches. So like you were kind of on your tippy toes, but they added it so you have, you know, almost 3 inches to stand off. I find it fairly comfortable to be up there. I've left these overnight in the woods on setups. I've hunted 1 stick off of these. I run a 3-step 8er if I want to get higher, just running 2 of these sticks. So running 2 of these sticks, and then either the 0.75, a saddle platform, or the 0.5, I'm coming in just under 10 pounds roughly, you know, not carrying a pack or anything like that, but a headlamp, and then, you know, my bow. So I mean, as far as minimalist goes, this is the stick for that. And then, you know, being able to run these cable 8ers off of it, you're basically getting, you know, you got 14 inches here and then 20 inches here. So you're getting 34 inches of stick for 1 pound. Now, the only thing I did to these, you know, a lot of guys are like, oh, they're super noisy. I don't know what kind of moves guys are making in the woods where like they're banging stuff together, but like if you just take these apart really nice, they're not loud at all. So I didn't really want to do anything crazy to them. The only thing I did was I added some hockey tape up here where this will actually go around, and I'll get into that here in a minute as I put it on the tree. Just because Lone Wolf's pretty notorious for having pretty sharp edges on some of their stuff, which can rip apart belts and attachment methods. But other than that, yeah, I added the cable 8er to the bottom of it. I run this 3-step 8er here. I keep this in my fanny pack pouch thing if I need to get higher, because I can normally set my stick about here, but with running this I can set it about, you know, here. So that gives me a lot more, because then I run this off the bottom of it, so it's literally looking like this. You'll see it here in a second. So running 2 sticks and then a stand or a saddle platform for the weight cost of this, I don't think you can beat it on the market, especially with the packability and the thin profile of this whole thing. I'll get into some things I didn't like about it. Not that they're deal breakers, but they're just something that you want to kind of know beforehand going into buying it. And then, yeah, we'll go over you know, how it goes on the tree. I'll test it on this pine here. I got a hard ash over there, and I'll kind of show you where it might not be as adequate as some other sticks that you would want on that type of tree. Now it's also a giant tree, so we'll go down all that, and yeah. All right, so we're here at the tree. Like I said, I'm using this not half inch. They make a 1/2 inch. I like the 3/4 inch belt better. This is completely buckleless, which again helps with the silencing of this stick, and especially the packability of it. I have a cam strap here with me too. I'll show you how to attach it to the tree with the cam strap. I actually didn't think I'd like this either. Kind of fell in love with this attachment method. I like the 3/4 inch one better. I think it just gives you a little bit more strength. Again, safety is my biggest thing going into the woods. So, you know, I've used the 1/2 inch ones and they held. They held really good. I know bigger dudes, way bigger than me, who have used those and had no problems. I just like the way this thing bites compared to the 1/2 inch one. Anyway, so going about setting this, so with that 20-inch cable weighter on the bottom, now you don't have to run it, but I think again it could be foolish not to, knowing that you're getting 34 inches of stick for 1 pound. Running just a cable weighter off there, it packs up the same exact way. So I typically set my first one where it's not too much of a reach, you know, I can get there, especially if I grab onto here and go out a little bit. So right about chest high. Then what you want to do is you want to come over this way. I'm keeping it real tight as I'm pulling it. And the big thing is you want to come over the top. So once you get it over to the top, I pull tight. I'm pulling really tight here. Pull tight, come around once, around once, around once, and then I just do a 1/2 hitch to finish it off. Boop. Done. That's done. Do a little bit of strap management, pull down on it, and she's good to go. Now, as you can see, might set a little bit more. Now this stick was designed to flex. Here's 1 foot. I'm putting all this pressure on this side, putting all the pressure on this side. Go to the top. Super solid. And the stick kind of moves around a little bit, and not so much to where it's gonna, you know, I got it to move there just a little bit, pushing really hard. But it kind of moves around because it's flexing all the time. But as it's doing that, let me bring you around here so you can see this. It is literally dug into the tree. I mean, something fierce. So it sticks really good. So the second way I would go about running this, and how I ran it last year if I wanted to get a little higher, running just 2 sticks, being able to set one, and again at 6 foot, being able to set one right about chest high, and you can set your other one I could probably get to about, if I stretched it out, 10 foot max. And for me, that's typically all the higher I'm hunting, if that, just because I'm all about efficiency, and most of the time if I get any higher than that, I'm not going to be able to shoot down through the canopy. I really just need to be able to get high enough through the brush. A lot of the areas around where I'm at are just thick freaking tangle messes. I don't really hunt a ton of giant open hardwoods. If I do, then I have the backup, and again, for no weight penalty. So I just set it here last time. This time I'm gonna set it here. And when you're setting the stick, you just want to make sure that before you start doing the whole process, that all 4 standoff points are touching. So again, I'll bring it here, hold it with my chin. I'll bring it around tight. Pull tight. 1, 2, 3, 1/2 hitch. Get it behind that ear. Set the stick. Boom. All right, now I could probably get it a little higher, but it'll be okay for now. Get that nice and set. And then what you do is I would pull this out of my fanny pack. This is an Ape Cannon 3-step aider. And I just, boom, I set it right there. And now that allows me to, boom, boom. And then you can use the cable weighter to help you. Boom. And now you're up. So I'm 6 foot. Get your first stick a little bit above 6 foot. Again, if I really wanted to stretch it, not using the buckleless method, it would be a little easier with the cam buckle method, which we're gonna get into here in a second. But for less than a pound and a half with this method, with the 3-step aider, with the 20-step cable aider, you can get 6 foot out of 1 pound. I don't see anything else beating that on the market. You can run cam buckles with these. They probably get just as tight, if not a little tighter than the buckleless method. However, I did not like, and Cody DeQuisco on Dying Breed Bow Hunter, he shows a way on which he uses the cam buckles and stacks these sticks. I didn't like it that way. I actually prefer because you're shaving a couple ounces too, but and you don't got to worry about the metal on metal. If I'm ever really worried about it with that, it's with the cam buckles. Now, I typically silence these. I just grabbed this from the house to do this today. Anyway, you can run these with these. I just didn't like the way that they stack together, because you have to be, it's more thinking. I don't want to have to think about which way I need to have the cam buckle end when I'm wrapping these up. So the important thing is with this is we're going to want to come over the top and make an X. So again, I'll set this up the same way. We'll go here. I'll come around, give myself a little bit more belt, come to the opposite side. Now I'm above it. I'm above that. And I make an X. So you want it to look like that. Make sure all the slack's out of it. Boom. I mean, that sucker is super tight. Again, I mean, it ain't going nowhere. Just very aggressive when it bites into it. I'm gonna get this on a harder bark tree here in a minute, and you'll see it still digs in as aggressively like that. On 95% of trees, there's some that it'll stay, but it just can't bite into it because the bark's so hard. So yeah, cam buckles also a really good method. I mean, very good method. I just didn't like the way it stacked. So here's a smaller diameter tree. We're gonna go into a really big one next. This is probably, yay round. Standoff teeth, it'll still work. If you need to hunt a baby tree like this, I don't know if you can get much smaller. I think that's one of the failing points. I don't know if you'd want to hunt like a flagpole type tree, but if you need to, I guess you kind of need to. I'll see if I can find one small enough to really test the limits of this thing. But even on a smaller tree like this, method's still the same. Just gonna come around. There's a knot there. Make it real tight. Make a loop underneath the first dog ear. Boom, figure eight, and you can do this as many times as you want. I kind of find it unnecessary to really do more than like one or two wraps around each, because then it starts getting a little tight, especially using this 1/2 inch, or excuse me, 3/4 inch strap. So there's that. Boom. And it still digs in, and you can hear it really digging in now. And you can get up and down, and I don't know if you could see that, but man, that thing, it flexes, and every time it flexes, it just digs and digs and digs more into the tree. Come look at this. Look how aggressive this is. Super aggressive. Just digs those points into it. I don't know if you can see. There's a little bit of a bow here. Maybe if it's stuck. No, I can't get it off. But that's on a smaller tree. So here's where I feel like this stick is not as competitive to other ones on the market. So I believe this is an ash tree. Could be wrong. correct me if I'm wrong, but it's got that real heavy, gnarly bark on it. And what I found is that these standoffs, they want to find the path of least resistance and really dig in. Well, when you have really hard bark and really aggressive deep grooves like that, sometimes this stick won't find. There's a little bit of fiddle factor, a little bit more than I want. If this is a tree that you deem that you need to hunt, you can make it work. It just takes a little bit more time. But again, when I'm in the woods, I want to think about hunting, not this is secondary to finding the sign and everything else, in my opinion. I don't want to have to think about, oh man, do I need to get my stick in this position, this position. You can see it's rocking, and now that one's off. So trying to find a home for this thing can be difficult. So we'll try right there. Again, this is a pretty big tree. And I always like to, when I'm using the stick, I like to have all four touching before I start. This one's really big. I don't have much smaller trees around me, but this will be a good example because it still works. If this was like a giant oak, you could definitely get up this. Pull tight around the top, boom, 1, 2, 3, half hitch, pull it tight, down through. And with these 8-foot straps, I mean, getting around a big tree like this isn't an issue. Now it's set. This one really caught good. That one really caught good. This one's kind of touching. So I'm gonna get a foot up in here and see how much more it'll set. See? It's moving around there. When you go up and there's just straight downward pressure, you're fine. The top's set in pretty good. Let's see if we can get that one more time. I just don't love that you can do that. Again, you just saw me on it. It was fine going up and down. I just don't like that it doesn't set as well on these deep groove trees in the bottom as far as like some of the other sticks that I've used before, because it's the independent standoffs. So I'm gonna fiddle factor with this and see if I can really get it set in. All right, there's a good spot. And when you're using these straps, if you decide to go with the buckleless method, parallel around the tree, pull it tight, wrap. I don't start with any funky off angle. I like it completely straight around. Wrap, wrap, half hitch. Boom. It sets, it works. It's just not the best. Not like on some of the other trees. Again, I don't know how often you're gonna hunt a gnarly bark tree like this. If you moved over to the pine that I have over there, I mean, you're still hunting the same thing. It's just as big, probably be a little easier to get up. But it works. It's not the best. Everywhere else gets a 10 out of 10. Big, hard, gnarly bark trees, real deep grooved. It gets a 7. Does it work? Yeah. Is it unsafe? I don't think so. It's just, I don't know how often anybody would hunt something like this. I mean, it is literally the tiniest thing in the world. I guess if you needed to, you could, just not with this stick. You can only go as wide as these standoffs. So, I mean, it's pretty small, probably 4 inches, 5 inches, 4.5, something like that. But yeah, you're not going to be able to climb up a bush like this. Here's a big old pine. Again, you know, going back to that 3-step aider, you know, if you really stretch this thing out, You could probably use the top of your forehead. I don't know, it's starting to get a little bit too uncomfortable for me. But it's working. So those of you guys who like to hunt really high, I got this first stick set well above 6 foot. We're probably close to the 7.5 foot. Put the 3-step aider on it. I mean, I'll hang off the sucker, you know. That's full hanging off of it. It ain't going nowhere. Yeah, put your 3-step aider here, your first step's here. I mean, you do that two times, you're at 15 foot. You carry 3 of these suckers in there, you know, you're getting to 20 foot easily with 3 pounds. 3 pounds for 20 foot. You're not gonna beat it. That's where this stick excels, is the compactability of it and the ease of use. I mean, you see me set it up multiple times now. I mean, it bites like a fucking bull. Bites like a bull. I don't actually know if bulls bite. What bite's good? Bites like a Malinois. Yeah, that's good. Bites like a Malinois, and you know, for how it stacks up on the tree, it's best in class in my opinion. This is my number 1 stick I'm gonna go with. I have the X2s at my house as a secondary for my. I like to carry two kits with me. I'm gonna run this and either the Ranger and the .5 or vice versa. One with the X2s, one with the micro doubles, and that way if I need to leave a stand somewhere, I can run both. But this will be on my number 1 kit. These sticks are the best in my opinion for how I like to hunt. Really light, really pack up easy, they don't take up any room, and they set up super easy. And like I said, you run the cable aider on them. They're 14 inches, 20-inch cable aider. Let me pull it down real quick. You run that stuff, you're getting 34 inches. Basically, a full-size stick for 1 pound. And how these pack up. I run one this way, all right? Boom. 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 All right. So I run one on this side, and then my other stick that I carry, I'll run wrapped on this side with the cable aider down, set them flush together, put both cable aiders over. It sits nice and flush inside the .5 or the 7.5 or the Ranger or any stand really. Again, they don't take up any room because there's nothing to it. I mean, you could really probably get away with, if you really wanted to, if you knew where you were going, if you wanted to hunt really low, you could run one of this with a 3-step aider and, you know, get here and put your stand at 8 foot, and you'd be up 8 foot with literally no weight at all, and taking up no room in your pack. So yeah, you would. I don't have the other one with me. I just brought this here. I'm actually painting a pool house right now. I'm in the back of it waiting for some stuff to dry. Perks of working for yourself, I guess. But so I figured I'd come out here. I've been wanting to do a review on these for a long time. Like I said, I ran these all last year. It's my number 1 go-to. Stackability, packability, take up no room, easy use, multiple ways to use them. Like I said, the bigger trees, hard bark, really hard bark, real gnarly, deep grooved bark. It's not the best. Does it work? Yes. So I think, you know, moving forward, if you're gonna get one of these, get these, especially with the new version now. I mean, they're fucking bulletproof, you know. So I would highly recommend them. I'm going to do a review on the X2s next. This stick is driving me nuts. I'm going to do a review on the X2s next, probably tomorrow, and then I'll do a side-by-side comparison and kind of maybe put them up side by side, because the X2s are extremely impressive. They're just not as compact and not as light, but they got a 5-inch standoff, and they're bulletproof, man. They're a really impressive stick, especially for the cost. Oh, that's another thing. you're looking at about $1.50 a stick if you buy a 4-pack. Don't hold me to this, I'm not sure exactly. I'll put it in either the link, or I'll put a little like, oh, it costs this much on the bottom of the video. I think if you get a 4-pack, you get $100 off. So, you know, 2 of these is going to run you $100, which is why, or excuse me, $300, which is why I only bought 2. But a lot of you guys are going to want, if you don't want to run the 3-step aider, you running 3 of these, you're carrying an extra pound, and you're still going to be able to get the 12, 15 foot, just depending on your step, you know. So, and running 4 is not going to take up any room either. If you're the guy who wants to get up to and touch the sky, that's cool too. So I'll do a review on the X2s next. Highly recommend getting yourself the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Micro Doubles. My favorite stick by far that I've used a lot of different gear. I just started doing reviews on stuff. I wish I would have started sooner, because I've tried it all, been there, done that, and these are by far my favorite. It's worth the money. Appreciate you guys watching. Any comments, put them down in the description.